reason.
Good morning, SKN. I'm Jamie Morris.
And I'm Cortensia Carty.
Well, it's a new week.
It is a new week indeed.
Filled with new possibilities.
Lots of possibilities.
Lots of possibilities.
Once we imagine them, right?
Once we imagine, well,
yes.
We always imagine the impossible here at Studio 327, so we're wishing you guys a great start of the week.
Yeah.
We're beginning with the latest in local news, this by way of a press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Aviation. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis was represented recently at the 9th Summit of the Americas in California, USA, by the resident ambassador of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United States of America, Her Excellency Dr. Thelma Phillip Brown, and counselor and alternate representative of St. Kitts and Nevis to the Organization of American States, or the OAS, Mrs. Sonia Badi Thompson. The June 6th to 10th summit, hosted by the United States government under the theme Building a Sustainable, Resilient, and Equitable Future, was held at the Microsoft Theater in Los Angeles. On June 8th, a welcome address was delivered by U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. U.S. President Joseph R. Biden, in delivering the feature address, later stated, quote, "It is my honor to host our fellow leaders from throughout the hemisphere for the 9th Summit of the Americas at a moment when we need more cooperation, common purpose, and transformative ideas. There has never been a greater need than today. We do not always agree on everything, but because we are democracies, we work through our disagreements with mutual respect and dialogue." End quote. So we were represented there,
Yes.
which is good.
Yes.
I know that at least one other country, there was some controversy surrounding that.
Yes, yes.
Indeed.
But do you realize you were represented by the strength of two wonderful women?
I know that we were represented by two women. I know, I'm just teasing. All right.
We continue now with our second story, this from SKNIS. The Department of Environment continues to strongly support the recycling initiative in St. Kitts and Nevis, especially as it relates to the 3 R's, principle of reducing, reusing, and recycling. Lynelle Bonaparte, Conservation Officer in the Department of Environment, during her June 8 appearance on Working for You, said, and I quote, "We will support the 3 R's because our mission to conserve, preserve, and protect, and once people reduce, reuse, and recycle, then it assists in fulfilling our mission." End quote. So we will support any initiative. Joyce Chang, project coordinator at the Solid Waste Management Corporation, shared similar sentiments, adding that the 3 R's help in less waste disposal, saving money, and being a more responsible consumer, thus reducing one's carbon footprint.
So we are on that train.
Yes, recycling is the way to go.
I guess the selling point for a lot of people would be the fact that you can save some money when you do that.
Yes, because you don't have to take anything to the landfill.
And well, that's it. And if you're concerned about the environment, definitely.
Yes, take along your shopping bags everywhere you go.
Ah, nice, indeed. All right, so we're moving on to our third story. This from Win Media. 7 young women. I was going to say, I know that you would support this story, and I got tongue-tied. All right, here we go again from Win Media. Take 2. 7 young women who were enrolled in the Beauty Entrepreneurship Seminar on Nevis have officially received funding to begin or advance their entrepreneurship journey as beauticians. The recipients will be engaged in business development counseling, which will include business training and topics to help to guide them. The 7 recipients include Joelle Phillip, Shakoya Flanders, Tanisha Hendrickson Brown, and Leosha Wyatt. The Taiwan ICDF Women's Employment Entrepreneurship and Financial Inclusion Project, in collaboration with the Nevis Island Administration and the Small Business Development Center, Nevis, hosted the Beauty Entrepreneurship Seminar from May 9th to May 20th, 2022. So 7 young women getting that boost to launch or develop their careers in the beauty industry, which we know is really big and booming in these parts.
Big and booming, 2 B's.
Oh, there you go. And you weren't tongue-tied.
Now we have your weather forecast. And the weather wants to go with my voice. It's partly cloudy and hazy with a 40% or moderate chance of a few passing showers. There is a high of 91 and a low of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Boy, oh boy, 91. Ooh la la. Spicy. Very spicy. So there you have it for the local news. Stay tuned. We will be back shortly with regional and international news.
Let's face it, most parents or guardians don't want to think about their teens having sex, let alone contemplate the possibility that they might get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Teenage pregnancy is a situation that involves female adolescents. A teenage female can be pregnant as early as age 12 or 13, although it is usually 14 and older. The fact that teenagers become pregnant is related to many factors. Here are some tips to decrease teen pregnancy. Teach teenagers comprehensive sex education. Target messages at teen boys, not just girls. Get the whole community involved. Encourage mentoring, parental involvement, and support. This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's me, your girl Jada Kingdom, aka Twinkle, and June the 25th, I'm gonna be performing live at the St. Kitts Music Festival at the Kim Collins Field. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see you guys. I want you guys to show me a good time because it's gonna be my first time in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're gonna have crazy fun. See you guys there. Mwah.
One day I have to win. That's why.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's your real top girl Shaniel Muir, and I will be performing live at the St. Kitts Music Festival. So you don't know, June 23rd to the 25th, it's gonna be a mad vibe. I cannot wait to see my fans. Everybody, make sure you get your tickets now and come out and celebrate with us. It's gonna be a banger. Yeah, first time in St. Kitts, and I'll be there to hold our vibes with you. So you wanna every top girl, every top man roll out. Mwah.
Didn't know that he was singing.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. If you're just joining us, we are continuing with the latest in regional news. This from Barbados today. Prime Minister Mia Mottley has broken her silence on the exclusion of Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua from the 9th Summit of the Americas. Not only criticizing the decision, but urging the leaders of the 3 missing countries to put people before ideology. Speaking on Friday on the final day of the 4-day summit held in Los Angeles, California, Motley joined other Caribbean community leaders who rebuked the United States government for its refusal to invite the leaders of the 3 nations. She declared, and I quote, "It is wrong that Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela are not here," end quote. I love how she speaks her mind.
I love how she speaks her mind. Yeah, my focus actually was on Cuba, so I, by oversight, missed the fact that the other 2 were not included either. And Mia Mottley speaking up.
Yeah, always. She always speaks her mind, and that's what I love about that woman.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And that's very important because if you're having these meetings, particularly as it concerns, the hemisphere, then you would think it's prudent to ensure that everyone's voices are represented.
Exactly.
Regardless of what goes on. But I guess politics being what politics is.
I know.
That's
always some controversy, right?
That is definitely what it means. All right, we're moving on to the international scene. This from CNN. North Korea has named a top nuclear negotiator as the nation's first female foreign minister, state media reported Saturday, amid warnings from the U.S. that Pyongyang is preparing to conduct a nuclear test. Korea diplomat Chloe Son-hui was appointed at a plenary meeting of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea from June 8th to 10th, overseen by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, state-run outlet KCNA said. Her appointment comes at a time of tension on the Korean peninsula as North Korea aggressively ramps up its weapons testing program in defiance of United Nations sanctions. Yes. Waging war, the threat.
Yes, but do you see how he strategically puts a woman in there because we're peaceful?
Is that what you think? Would you say that, really?
Yes, because he knows, okay, she can work this out.
Let me clarify. I'm not saying that you're not peaceful at all, because I definitely don't want a war here. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just interesting to me. One of the things that I take away from this, though, is the fact that despite other countries and even international organizations imposing sanctions, the sanctions seem not to be effective at all. No. Because there are sanctions, but yet they're ramping up their weapons program. There are sanctions against Russia, and yet we know what's going on there. Exactly. So in a lot of ways, I think they're effective, but I think that more needs to be done. But I do understand the constraints of operating in, with a mandate, of course, not to, let's say, use force when force is not required. So, it's a bit of a balancing act.
I think if ladies take over all the countries of the world, life will be better.
And with that, we go to the break. Stay tuned, everyone. We're Good Morning SKN in a moment.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Let's face it, most parents or guardians don't want to think about their teens having sex, let alone contemplate the possibility that they might get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Teenage pregnancy is a situation that involves female adolescents. A teenage female can be pregnant as early as age 12 or 13, although it is usually 14 and older. The fact that teenagers become pregnant is related to many factors. Here are some tips to decrease teen pregnancy. Teach teenagers comprehensive sex education. Target messages at teen boys, not just girls. Get the whole community involved. Encourage mentoring, parental involvement, and support. This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Salt is an important part of the human diet, but most of us consume more than we realize.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Yo, me pray every time I feel can't do no different. Swear me have a win, that's why I'ma try again. Pray every time I feel, cause God always a listen. One day I have to win, that's why I'ma try again.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. It is time for Good Morning SKN's Connection. Here on Good Morning SKN Connections, we welcome the opportunity to talk with our nationals wherever they are in the world. Today, we are pleased to connect with Peter Douglas, a St. Kitts and Nevis national studying in Taiwan. He was part of the production team for the Battle of the Middle song and music video for the 2022 graduating class of the China Medical University. Welcome to Good Morning SKN, Peter.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, SKN, and thank you for having me.
You are
Of course, it's our pleasure.
So what is the rationale behind the Battle of the Middle?
Well, of course, the Battle of the Middle is very difficult to explain, but it's basically describing students, like medical students or any students in particular, who probably maybe in the middle of the studies. And now what's going to happen is that the past difficulties is trying to defeat them, but the end is trying to overcome. So that's why we say the battle of the middle. So you're trying to conquer that fight between the difficulties and also the end.
Well, that's a very interesting concept. I never looked at it quite like that, but as someone who's gone through it, Peter, I'm pretty sure that this was an interesting project for you to engage in. So what was it like working on the project?
Well, for me at first, it was more about just having fun and trying to just do more than just studying, because music was always my passion. And while working on it, it was actually very strange. My first time actually doing collaboration with people, with Taiwanese people from the Taiwan culture. So it was interesting. Actually, also it was interesting the way how I actually met the vocalist. It was all online to Instagram, and it was really tiring at some time, frustrating at some time, but in the end, I enjoyed the project.
Lovely. So let's take a look at the music video courtesy of the China Medical University and its Student Association.
Hey, Peter. Yes. So, I'm enjoying this interview with you, but I could listen to that song all day.
That's actually digging out to it. Yes,
actually, I think maybe you should,
So let's talk about this. So you were actually the lyricist, the composer, and the arranger. And I'm telling you, I literally can listen to that song all day. So let's talk about not only the joy that you experienced in doing this and perhaps some of the lessons that you learned in doing this as well, but also the challenges in writing the music in Mandarin. Let's start there.
Okay.
Were there any?
Okay. Well, let's talk about the challenge writing in Mandarin. Of course, Mandarin Chinese is, which is the most common language here, is actually tonal. So yeah, it's have a tone, right? Okay. So when you're trying to write a song, right, like an English song, we just use we just listen to the melody and we're not really paying attention to our pronunciation or whatever, right? We're just going to flying with the melody. However, in speaking Mandarin, it is actually a little bit different because the tone is going to be affected after you had to put it to a song that have different instruments and have different melodies, so it's going to be really difficult. So when the singer and myself was actually trying to put the entire song together, it was very difficult, And I did for the second verse, I actually did the Chinese writing. I actually did it as well, and it was really difficult. So I was like back and forth trying to change the lyrics, and the whole goal was that even though I'm international, the song is actually still for the students here who are actually Chinese. So we wanted to make sure that we have most of the lyrics actually in Chinese. However, the lyrics were so good that we couldn't really change much, right? So we just had to put it together and make it bilingual.
Okay. So can you give us a few lines from the song, and can you also expound on your favorite line of that song?
Well, my favorite part is actually in Chinese. I think I gave you guys the translation of the Chinese part, which is in the second verse, right? Okay. And it's basically saying, I'm gonna say it in Chinese first, which is 通商道路之前我们会去看, right? And that line basically saying here basically saying, before we part ways, let's look back at the time that we spent together, right? Okay. And then I went on to saying and keep this experience in our memory forever, right? Whether it is a dream come true or it is a loss. And that's like deep for me. I actually wrote that, right? And also the pre-chorus, which is we are going down, 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 but courage floated us up, up, up. That's also my favorite part of the song. Yes.
Okay. Well, you sound very authentic with your Chinese Mandarin, I must say.
I try my best.
Practice, right? Practice.
Yes.
How long have you been in Taiwan, Peter?
Oh, actually, I don't know exactly, but I think it's going on for about 6 years now.
Wow. Okay. So I would imagine, yes. So yeah, practice.
School is so much fun for him. He doesn't even know the time is just going by, and he's like, "Yeah, this is cool. I'm enjoying this, right?"
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, I don't love to count the days now. I just love to just keep going until then. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff.
All right, so we'll be back to talk with you after a brief break. Stay where you are, Peter, as those of you at home or at work watching us as well. Don't touch your dial. We'll be back in a moment.
When growing your savings, where you save matters more than you think. Dare to compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are speaking with Peter Douglas on this segment of Connections. Yes, a national of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, currently studying in Taiwan. Peter, that first segment with you was so amazing. I got to see you in the video because I was actually scanning for you, and I got to see you doing a little boxing and so on. So it was really a whole lot of fun. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about what you were currently studying at the China Medical University.
Okay. Well, so I'm presently studying, actually my 4th year of studying physical therapy or obviously physiotherapy, right? Which is, most people know me in St. Kitts to be more of a sports physical therapist. But what I'm studying here is actually a bit more high level in terms of clinical physical therapy. So I deal with basically any patient you could think about, I will have to work with. And also, that's all the question again. It's so much I want to say.
No, we were just asking what you were studying. So what were your experiences like studying as well? You can keep going.
Yeah. So basically, it's just physical therapy, and then I'm actually doing some other like trying to get my Chinese better. So I started to do some more studies in Chinese, and also Taiwan also have a second language, which is Taiwanese, right? And also doing other studies in Taiwanese.
Okay. It is difficult for the average person to learn a language, Peter. Can you let us know how we can pursue that path?
Well, I'm actually, if you want to know more about that, actually writing some stories about that. But the basic technique that I used was that language is not just like taking an exam and then like, okay. I can speak, right? It's basically a lifestyle. It's something that you do every day, right? So the best thing to do is to speak every day. But how would you do that is maybe by doing the stuff that I love. Maybe if I love to play with your phone, and it just like for me, I put my phone entirely in Chinese. So if I want to use it, I have to learn how to read Chinese, right? So that was like one of the methods that I use. I also watch movies, listen to music, whatever, all in Chinese. So I surrounded my life and my lifestyle entirely into Chinese, and that's how I actually forced myself to learn.
Yeah. All right, that's great. And I know that you are adept at what you do. I know before when we were talking, you mentioned something about Naima Hazel. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about what you wanted to talk about, Peter.
Okay. Well, the reason why I mentioned her because she actually was the one of the last person I saw before I left Taiwan.
Okay.
Before I left, I left to go to Taiwan. It's actually, I think we took the same plane together as well.
Yes, Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that she's actually the last person I actually saw from St. Kitts before I left. Okay. I left for Taiwan, and we took the same plane together, and we was talking, and she wished me all the best in my studies. So.
Of course, and you would remember her, I think, maybe from Washington Archibald High School. She was a teacher at the time you were there, correct?
Right.
You Wildcats. You Wildcats.
I don't know Mr. Morris as well, I remember.
Yeah, I told you can call me Jamie, that's fine. Yes, Peter is one of my students, always very brilliant, and I'm very proud of you, Peter.
Actually, I wanna mention something here. Mr. Morris, I don't know, but he actually had like one of the opportunity to see like the first stage of my passion for music in our first farm, where we had the assembly, and then I actually got some buckets and what's not and bring them to the school just to make a drum set so that we could have a better diversion. Yeah, and that was like cool. So every time I think about
Oh, Jamie, you're inspirational.
Well, in the next video, let's go. We'll do a video, okay? We'll do a video together. Maybe.
So, Peter, how has the experience been transitioning from St. Kitts to Taiwan?
Well, of course, as we said, we do have cultural shock, and it's a different environment, different mentality, different habits. But I think overall, because I was willing to just forget everything that I actually remember about back home, I was able to be open-minded, as I say, and really go straight in. I wasn't afraid to do anything or say anything. So I think that's how I actually was able to come from being a Caribbean into more of like a Taiwanese.
And you do even the English, you sound like a Taiwanese.
Oh, really? So you're saying that my accent changed?
You are so authentic with it. You are.
Oh, thank you.
You've been there long enough.
You're welcome.
You've been there long enough, Peter, so you'll pick up certain things.
Yes.
Are there any particular aspects of the Taiwanese lifestyle or culture that resonate with you?
Of course, I think one of the most what I call it is like it's very convenient in terms of transportation. Like I've been here for 6 years, and even though I have license, I could drive and I could ride a scooter. I've never really used personal or private transportation. I always use public transportation. So I think that it's really convenient. Like you could go anywhere just using the public transportation.
Nice.
Definitely, that's also, a little different.
Yes. Also the people, man. The people is really kind. Of course, there's maybe some bad experience here and there, but overall, the people is really once they're willing to speak Chinese and really open with them, they're willing to do the same thing.
Nice.
That's great.
So you mentioned 2 languages that you are aware of up there. Do you know of any more? There is.
Yes. They actually have others, which is they have the Abmo region, so they have Hakka, like I think it's Hakka, and some others. Like there's a lot, but I don't remember in Chinese, so I can't really translate it. Yeah, but there's different based on the tribes and the different origin. They have different languages, but the main 2 is actually Mandarin Chinese and also Taiwanese, which is most older adults will actually use Taiwanese. So that's one of my difficulties right now. I have to practice Taiwanese, so when I get to the hospital, I can communicate.
Oh, lovely. Well, good luck practicing your Taiwanese and do your best.
Indeed. Thank you.
Peter, we have about 40 seconds left. I'm really pushing it here, but I do want to give you an opportunity to speak to other people who might be considering attending school in Taiwan or just outside of St. Kitts and Nevis. What would you say to them?
Okay. Well, I would say it doesn't matter what you think inside. I think the best thing to do is go out there and try to experience it, and then you actually know the answer. If you check the video, you actually see my code, and in the end of the video, actually going to tell you more about that. Yeah, and I also will just wish you all the best, and don't be afraid to just do what your heart tell you, and just reach for the highest standard. And I welcome you guys to come and try something new. Doesn't matter if you go to Taiwan or any other way in the world. Yeah, always good to try something new. Thank you.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much. It's been great reconnecting with you in this segment of Connections. I'm going to remember Battle of the Middle. Definitely going to check it out after I leave here. All right. So great to see you again.
I'm sorry, but I want to say like the song is on all the platforms, on the music platform,
Okay.
on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can get it. So you could also support it there. Okay, thank you.
Congratulations again, and best of luck to you, Peter. We'll be back.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
We'll be back in a moment. Everyone, stay tuned.
Okay, bye-bye.
So coming up next.
Hi, if you are a smoker, please pay attention to this message. According to the World Health Organization, there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world today, and tobacco kills 1 out of every 2 smokers. Did you know that there is enough nicotine in 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole? There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, of which more than 250 are known to be harmful. More than 69 are known to cause cancer, and 16 are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Smoking kills. Are you ignoring that warning every time you smoke? Please stop. Smoking can lead to severe health complications and even death. It affects almost every organ in the body, especially the lungs and heart. It raises blood pressure, increases blood clots, and increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, and cancer. It is hard to quit smoking, but it is not impossible. Don't let tobacco destroy you. Remember the 4 Ds to curb your tobacco cravings. 1. Delay. Set a time limit before you decide to smoke. 2. Drink water. Go get a drink before you do anything else. 3. Do something else. Have a goodie bag handy of other things to do. And 4. Deep breathing. Take at least 10 deep breaths every time you think about smoking. Quit smoking and live a longer and happier life. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts and Nevis.
We now have a pre-recorded interview with young representatives of the People's Action Movement. Enjoy. The views and opinions expressed in this segment of Good Morning SKN are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the management and staff of Good Morning SKN and Studio 327 Inc.
This week's special edition of Good Morning SKN, we are pleased to be speaking with the members of the People's Action Movement, PAM. Good Morning SKN is open to all political parties, and hopefully we will be hearing from the other political parties in the Federation in the near future.
All parts of society must be included for political systems to be representative. When young people are disenfranchised or disengaged from political processes, a significant portion of the population has little or no voice or influence in decisions that affect group members' lives.
The United Nations Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, noted in the foreword to the United Nations Youth Strategy, Youth 2030 Progress Report in April of 2022, quote, "Today's generation of young people is growing up at a time marked by profound challenges, from conflicts and climate change to persistent inequalities, inadequate education, youth unemployment, and the COVID-19 pandemic. But young people are not passively accepting the world as it is. Instead, they are actively taking the lead in changing it as innovators, activists, and voices of progress. Online, in their communities, and in the streets, they are championing the values of equity, justice, and international cooperation, and demanding that leaders act now to build a better world for all and protect our planet," end quote. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Delwine Delaney, PRO of the People's Action Movement, Tawana Wigley, Acting Chair of the Young Pamites, Azard Gums, Deputy Chair of the People's Action Movement, and Camila Morris, Member of the People's Action Movement. Welcome to the special edition of Good Morning SKN. We are honored to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reflecting on the quote we just read from the UN Secretary General, if we accept this to be true, then we might reasonably expect that youth have become increasingly active in politics. In your estimation, is this the case? And if so, why do you think youth have increased their political activity?
I think to some extent this has been the case. We are seeing young people involved, but in addition to that, I want to say that young people have always been involved to some extent. If you look at years gone by with the formation of the People's Action Movement, Sir Kennedy Simmons, Billy Herbert, founding fathers, they were all at that time young people. We are told of the movement being formed, and they around the age of 30, and so yes, young people are actively involved in politics, but I think young people have been around. The difference is that I think in addition to youth involvement, we have currently more, I want to say, older members who are the faces of the political parties, but youth have always been around, or young people have always been around.
Well, if I might add to what he's saying, I think the young people understand inclusion, and for that to happen and for it to work, you have to be involved, you have to share your voice. A lot of young people, we are now going forward, you know, in terms of going to school a bit earlier. No longer are we taking time, so you would find that with a lot of opportunities that are available, we are going to school, we are coming back with a wealth of knowledge, and now with that wealth of knowledge, we want to share it. And what better way to share it than with the party that you are, you know, want to be involved with, or you want to help them, because these are the persons who are going to make decisions for us in the future.
If I may add as well, not only have young persons been around politics, but now we are seeing actually young persons making a valuable impact as it relates to politics. No longer the youth involvement is just on the fringe, but now they are at the seats of the table, making valuable input as well.
So then, Delwine, you would say this is an ideal political situation for the youths?
I think so. I definitely think so, because it lends to new ideas, innovative ideas. We're in 2022, what would have transpired, as Mr. Gums would have said, at the commencement of the party does not relate to persons now. And so we need the infusion of young minds, young energy, and innovative thinking to push the agenda forward.
And what we want to do is set the tone and inspire others to join us, you know, because we do need more youth, active youth members in our federation.
I will say this also, if we are to look at the People's Action Movement, the national executive, comprises of a number of young people. Our political leader, the Honorable Sean K. Richards, is under 50 years old. We have myself and Delwyn Delaney, who are under 50 as well.
Under 40.
I wasn't sure, but I think sure. So under 40, we have our Assistant General Secretary, we have our General Secretary, again, 40 and under. And so when you look at the composition of the National Executive of the People's Action Movement, it is comprised of young people.
Right, so if you could think of an ideal political system that represents the interests of youth, what would that look like?
I think that will look like a system where, as we say, young people are actively involved, a system where young people are not only tokens, but their voices are heard. I think currently in St. Kitts and Nevis, that opportunity is there for young people. We see that involvement in political parties is there, but you find that some people tend to shy away because of the fears of victimization that is also associated, sadly.
What I think would be ideal, although we have young persons at the forefront, within the mix, we have to lean somewhat on the experienced ones as well. So we just can't focus on youth-driven, but we must learn from our experiences and those who have been there before us. So it's a bit of a balance, but again, the youth element must be somewhere at the forefront, because, I mean, if we're chanting the way forward, it must be a youth-driven agenda.
And that speaks to the inclusivity that I mentioned earlier, because at the end of the day, yes, we want to have youths involved, but we can't just say, you know, we're pushing out persons. The persons who are there, they're there to guide us, train us, mentor us, so that we can have a structure that we want in place, and the structure feels, you know, balanced, like Delwyn said. The structure feels like we are moving forward together, not that we're leaving others behind. And I think that's the best way to put it, with everyone involved, everyone at the table, and not just using ideas given, but you saying, yes, you have a brilliant idea. How about you lead with this? You charted the way with this, because it's your idea. I'm here to assist you as well.
That's a very important point, because I would consider that some young persons might think if they are to be represented by older people, those older people might not necessarily understand what those interests are, despite there being opportunities to be heard. So am I hearing you correctly in saying that you think that your party has struck that balance, or are you still working towards it?
I think that our party is working towards it. I think that there is definitely more room for improvement, but it is working again towards that.
Well, there's always room for improvement. So.
We are trying to create the National Youth Council, so that is our underworking. So we are represented by a body, and all the decisions that we make, it's legitimate and it comes from a board.
Well, that's a very good first step, indeed. All right, we'll take a short break and we'll be back to continue this engaging discussion in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Let's face it, most parents or guardians don't want to think about their teens having sex, let alone contemplate the possibility that they might get pregnant or get someone pregnant. Teenage pregnancy is a situation that involves female adolescents. A teenage female can be pregnant as early as age 12 or 13, although it is usually 14 and older. The fact that teenagers become pregnant is related to many factors. Here are some tips to decrease teen pregnancy. Teach teenagers comprehensive sex education. target messages at teen boys, not just girls. Get the whole community involved. Encourage mentoring, parental involvement, and support. This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
The views and opinions expressed in this segment of Good Morning SKN are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the management and staff of Good Morning SKN and Studio 327 Inc.
We are continuing our special edition of Good Morning SKN with Delwyn Delaney, PRO of the People's Action Movement, Tawana Wigley, Acting Chair of the Young Pamites, Azad Gum, Deputy Chair of the People's Action Movement, and Camila Morris, Member of the People's Action Movement. Now let's have a look at a video that speaks on the importance of youth politics.
Unfortunately, the youth of today have been given such a bad name when it is only a minority of people who are creating social disruption. Most youthful people are motivated and long to do well in everything they do, which means they could be a very important aspect in politics. Firstly, young people have different perspectives and a host of different ideas. By allowing them to voice their opinion, we could be opening and moving the political world forward. This is not only good for society, but necessary. If the young did not engage with politics, even if it is through pressure groups, there would be many issues with our political establishments in trying to keep policy fair and sustainable for future generations. For example, equal rights for women required many young women to engage with the issue at hand. Why? Because they had strong feelings for the issue. That is something that we should encourage, interest and opinion on political matters. How do we do this? Other than the obvious, reading the news and consulting with your MP, there are plenty of exciting opportunities for the young to get involved. Partaking in social organisations such as the Youth Parliament is a prime opportunity for young people to get involved. In the UK, for example, Youth Parliament is open to teenagers who wish to use their voice in creative ways in order to bring about social change. This is both exciting and informative. The development of e-democracy has increased youth interest in politics. Just by listening to this right now, you're engaging and informing yourself with politics, e-democracy. And double congratulations if you're young, because you're doing exactly what you want to be doing and engage with the most confusing yet important subject in the world. We strongly believe that not enough is done for the young of today to get involved with politics, and as a large portion of our society, they should be allowed more access to politics to shape the world they live in. Thank you for listening. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe, and please do tell us how you get involved with politics.
So is this the same type of political participation that we see from the youth here in the St. Kitts? And are there any differences?
Well, I would say it's very similar. I'm surprised that the video highlighted the youth parliament.
Okay.
We have the youth parliament here in St. Kitts and Nevis, organization in which we have a number of young people, organization that I have been a part of as well.
So only you've been a part of the youth parliament? Anyone else on the panel?
No, we haven't.
Not part of it.
Okay, well, let's keep him in the hot seat for a little bit longer. All right, so someone who has been part of that organization, while you were there as a younger person, to what extent did you feel that your voice was heard, and also to what extent did you feel that you were given the opportunity to represent the interests of younger people?
Well, I started at a very early age, at the age of 14. At that point in time, we were given the opportunity to debate legislation that was passed and legislation that would have been passed by the National Assembly. And so I could give you an example where we spoke about the amendments to the road safety legislation, and we spoke about the need for seatbelts and finding of those persons who are caught without having their seatbelts on. And so it gave us an opportunity as young people to add to the conversation, to have a voice. Then I came back, I served as president, and so I was in a different position where I then assisted young people to have a voice. And so I think the Youth Parliament is an excellent organization to equip young people to ensure that their voice is there and strengthened.
And if I can add as well, I think it also ensures that the next generation of politicians, you have your pickings from that because you're being groomed for that.
I would say also to that there are persons now who are contesting the general elections who are former members of the Youth Parliament Association.
Indeed. On the side note, I do remember that debate on the seatbelt, so very good. So aside from the video, based on your personal interactions, how interested do you believe youth are in politics and why?
I think the interest is gaining momentum as it relates to youth in politics. We have seen election by election, we see more involvement in youths. I think the political parties understand that the importance and the role that youth play in determining the outcomes of elections. And we have seen, again, more young persons being encouraged to get involved in politics one way or the other, whether it be at the forefront, whether it be from a strategy standpoint, whether it be from a canvassing standpoint, whether it be from an intel standpoint, marketing standpoint. And politics have all these different arms attached to it. So again, being in politics as a young person doesn't necessarily mean that you're on the forefront with a mic in your hand, but you're definitely making an impact one way or the other.
That's a very important point indeed.
So I would like to know how each of you got involved in politics and why politics. I'll start with the ladies first. Okay,
so basically what would have happened is that in 2020, for sure, I was looking on and I'm saying, I want to be involved. I want to have a voice. So I joined the People's Action Movement, I was already a part of it, and then I said, let me join the Hamites, because I think that's where we would have to start. We're young, so I want to go into there, and I want to grow, I want to learn, and that's how I came to be involved in politics. And the question before you asked if there's an interest, and I would say there's an interest, and especially in the People's Action Movement, I think they do facilitate that interest, because more so now than ever, more and more young persons are applying to, become candidates. Darwin did say you don't have to have a microphone in your hand, which is true, but more persons you're seeing when they go on the trails, you're seeing more youths. They want to have the mic in their hand as well. They're not shying away. We have the Honorable, Sean Richards. He joined politics at an early age. We have John L. Powell. He joined politics at an early age. Even Natasha Shani Gray. This is all a part of our agenda of pushing young people forward for the People's Action Movement.
I was inspired by my grandfather, who, served as Deputy Prime Minister under Kennedy, Dr. Kennedy, sorry. And so last year I heard a voice. I believe in God and I do pray every day. And everything that I've done, I usually say it by fulfilling my purpose. And one day last year, I heard a voice inside that told me that I need to do something, and I know I can do something. And I decided to join PAM and politics.
All right, Rick Soros, do you have anything to add?
No, for me, I started out very young again in the Youth Parliament Association at the age of 14. I started from a non-political standpoint. I then went to university. I was a member of the Guild of Students, having run a campaign and having been successful. I then came back to St. Kitts and Nevis, served as president of the Youth Parliament, and then reached the age of 30, and I was like, okay, then I need to do more. I want to do more. I had the family members on both sides of the spectrum, Labour Party, People's Action Movement. But at the time, I decided that the People's Action Movement was the better of the two, and I felt more comfortable with the People's Action Movement, the accomplishments of the People's Action Movement, what they stood for. I then stood up one time when they had the National Caucus and was elected the Assistant General Secretary of the People's Action Movement, and I have been a part of the executive from 2019 to now, where I am now the deputy chair of the party.
Congrats.
Thank you.
All right, so there is growth. I see, the different paths that you've taken, obviously, to become involved in this organization. What I do want to ask you now is this. Policy, personality, or political party. How important do you think each of these things is to youth voters? Come on, I see you.
I want you to repeat that question just one more time for me.
Sure. Policy, personality is in the individual personality or charisma of the politician, or political party. How important do you think each of these things is to youth voters?
I think all of them are equally important. And I say this because policy, it should lead the way, of course. But if we are talking about policies, we have to trust the person who is going to present and say they want to do the policy. So you must trust the politician. And then you must trust the party holistically, because you can say you want this policy done, but the party is, one, and they usually have to move together. So you have to have the balance between all three. That's how I view it.
Is that the consensus?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there should definitely be a balance within all three. And to some extent too, I think even when we look at it practically, I think sometimes personality of the candidate draws persons to a party that they don't traditionally support.
Yeah. Yes. That's the one I was saying earlier during the break. We were having a discussion and she didn't say that.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to look at the individual who is contesting as well.
Well, those are very important points. We'll continue this discussion in a moment. Stay tuned, everyone.
Self-health management refers to the measures people take to manage their own health. You and I should remember to wash hands often with soap and water, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Take your temperature morning and evening. Watch for symptoms. Persons with diabetes or hypertension are reminded to take your medication regularly as prescribed. If you have no symptoms, you may carry out your normal routine and boost your immune system. When you are outside, avoid public spaces and wear a mask at all times. If you develop symptoms, put on a mask and seek medical care. Do not take public transportation. Inform the doctor of your travel history, any contact with confirmed or suspected cases, your occupation, and whether anyone around you has similar symptoms. If you become ill, please rest at home. Wear a mask and isolate yourself from others in your household. If you share a bathroom, disinfect daily using 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. Everyone must work together to reduce the spread of the coronavirus.
The views and opinions expressed in this segment of Good Morning SKN are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the management and staff of Good Morning SKN in Studio 3278. If you are just joining us, today is a special edition of Good Morning SKN, and we are talking about youth and politics with youth representatives Delwayne Delaney, PRO of the People's Action Movement, PAM, Tawana Wigley, acting chair of the Young Pamites, Izard Gums, deputy chair of the People's Action Movement, and Camila Morris, a member of the People's Action Movement. So here it is. Over the weekend, we conducted a rapid survey with youth between the ages of 18 to 25 to get their take on youth and politics. And we have some of the results, which we're going to invite you to comment on. So of the people who took the survey, 69% of them were 18 to 24, and 31% of them were 25 to 35 years in age. Gender, distributed 60-40 roughly, 60 females, 40 males. And when it came to whether they were registered or not, we see that an overwhelming number of them were in fact registered. 87% of them were registered, 13% not. And the first key question we asked is, how likely are you to vote in the upcoming elections? 32% said that they were very likely to vote. 24% said that they were likely. So that's roughly 56% who were likely to vote. And then you can see how it turns on the other end. 24% unlikely, which means that they perhaps could be more easily swayed, and 19% very unlikely. When you see things like that, what is your take on that?
I think that it means that the message should be out there more. And I think that it is upon us and our party to push the message and the inclusion of young people, because we want more people not only listening to the message, but voting on the issues. Many times we don't find a lot of persons voting, even though when it comes to winning the election, it's your vote that really wins an election.
Okay, so you vote on the issues, but then you see the issues aren't dealt with. How do you win someone back after they've gone through that phase and see what they see?
Well, through encouragement, we realize that politics is dynamic, it's ever-changing. We would not have thought that we'll have been here gearing up for another general election just 2 years after. And so some of the promises that would have been made would not have been kept because of the short time.
Okay.
And so we have to understand the dynamics in which politics surrounds itself.
Yeah, I do. We have some more information for you on the survey as well. So we asked the participants where they get their information from in politics, and we see that 21% of them receive information from radio, 27% from social media, that includes Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. Word of mouth, which is pretty close to radio, believe it or not, 19%. Political campaigns, 16%. I don't know what that means to you, but I'm certain you will tell me that in a little bit. 16% get their information from political campaigns, 9% from television, and 8% from other sources, which I suspect would be things like newspapers, etc. So when you see that, how alarming is it? And let's say, is that an incubator for misinformation to be spread when we see that 19% of people receive their information from word of mouth, as compared with, for instance, 16% who receive information from political campaigns?
Yes, I mean, when you see statistics like that as it relates to word of mouth, we know that misinformation is readily available in that regard. So we need to ensure that our political campaigns are on the higher side as it relates to our messaging, as well as our social media platforms, which I think the People's Action Movement is the lead, if we are to take as to what is going on the social media handles, and so that we ensure that our messaging is an accurate one as it relates to what the People's Action Movement stands for.
Right. So since you have the opportunity, and you made that point about messaging and what the People's Action Movement stands for, let us know.
So from a youth standpoint, of course, we want to ensure that it is one of inclusion. We want to ensure that the youth within St. Kitts and Nevis, by extension, understand that PAM is about innovating the way that we're about doing things. We want to empower the youths as well, whether it through means whatever their livelihoods may fall, whether it be from a business standpoint, small business standpoint, whether it be from an educational standpoint, whether it be from housing, land, whatever the empowerment is. We want to ensure that the youth not only have a voice, but that voice is heard and acted upon as well.
And if I might add, our motto is putting people first. You just simply put it out there. We focus on people. We are people driven. The name is People's Action Movement. I mean, come on, we've been around for a long time, and that has always been our focus, and we continue, and we want that to remain our focus.
That's a solid point indeed. All right, so we have some additional information for you. Delvin, I don't know, you got a preview of this or what? You mentioned some of the issues here. We're looking at the issues that are most important to youth during the election cycle. And I'll take it, educational opportunities, ties with land and housing opportunities at 12%, Employment and job creation opportunities, 14% of respondents said they were important. Affordable and accessible healthcare, I guess, because we're coming off of a pandemic, rather, it would be important to a lot of people, but not only because of that. Development of the education system, and if I can expound on that for a little bit, the respondents said that speaks to things like the improvement in infrastructure, better sporting and recreational facilities, better cafeterias, and we're looking at things like greater access to computers and tablets. So your feedback on that?
Well, I would say that I think the concerns are valid. I think the percentage-wise go to speak to the audience because, as you said, as we've seen, majority of them were under the age of 35, and persons on the age of 35, the younger population, well, I think it was 24 to 35, was it?
18 to 35 altogether.
18 to 35 yes. Altogether, 18 to 24, and then 24 to 35. 35 so yes. Between 18 and 24, young people are looking for educational opportunities to go to school. They're looking for opportunities where they can, further themselves through scholarships and job creation. As you go up, you're looking for land and house because you're back and you're settled. So I think that is the reason why we see the percentage. Not saying that all of them aren't important, but it's at what phase in your life do these things become relevant.
And to people who are looking to your political party to ensure that what they consider, as important issues will in fact be dealt with and handled in a way that's favorable to them, what would you say?
Creating a board or a team to make sure that these are enforced. Not just that these promises are, just said and only said, that we're trying to reinforce them as well.
As Camilla said, with the board, what we are trying to do as part of the youth agenda is have a national youth council. We have the Youth Parliament Association, which has served a purpose like a youth council, but not the exact thing as a youth council. So we are hoping that as part of the youth agenda, we have a national youth council that represents persons from across the constituencies, the 11 constituencies, between the ages of 15 to 29, and those persons will be elected and push the youth agenda.
So what is the deadline for the board to be created?
There's no deadline. We're hoping that upon election and upon assuming office, being successful at the general election, that would start in the Ministry of Youth. It has already begun in the sense that there's a youth policy that was formed under the Honorable Sean K. Richards. From the youth policy, we're trying to ensure that it is carved into a national youth council. From we realized we had COVID-19 for 2 years, so it would have been at a standstill.
So we understand that we've seen a lot of politicians promise things and they weren't able to keep the promises, whether it's due to, the lack of short time or, whatever the circumstances are. We as young people need to see more follow through. We need somebody who is behind them to say this is not getting done, or maybe they can branch out and we can micromanage certain aspects of it to make sure that the job is done and that we meet our mandates.
Well, I can see the head shaking, so there's definitely consensus. I suspect that there will be a movement in that direction. We'll be back to talk with you more after this. Stay tuned.
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's me, your girl Jada Kingdom, aka Twinkle, and June the 25th, I'm gonna be performing live at the St. Kitts Music Festival at the Kim Collins Field. I'm super excited. I can't wait to see you guys. I want you guys to show me a good time because it's gonna be my first time in St. Kitts and Nevis, and we're gonna have crazy fun. See you guys there. Mwah.
One day I have to win. That's
St. Kitts and Nevis, it's your real top girl, Chanel Muir, and I will be performing live at the St. Kitts Music Festival. So you don't know, June 23rd to the 25th, it's going to be a mad vibe. I cannot wait to see my fans. Everybody, make sure you get your tickets now and come out and celebrate with us. It's going to be a banger. Yeah, first time in St. Kitts, and I'll be there to hold our vibes, we don't know. So you wanna, every top girl, every top man roll out. Mwah.
You can lower your salt intake by reducing salty foods, removing table salt, and using salt alternatives when cooking.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters apart. And always wear your mask.
Always keep your hands clean. Wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. When dining, choose restaurants with staggered seating. This will lower the risk of transmission.
If you have a fever, cough, or other respiratory symptoms, please wear a mask and seek medical care immediately. Rest at home and do not visit the food vendors, local markets, or restaurants.
The views and opinions expressed in this segment of Good Morning SKN are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the management and staff of Good Morning SKN and Studio 327 Inc.
Edition of Good Morning SKN, and we're talking about youth in politics. With these youth, Dalvin Delaney, PRO of the People's Action Movement, Tawana Wigley, acting chair of the Young Pamites, Azad Gums, deputy chair of the People's Action Movement, and Camila Morris, member of the People's Action Movement.
So we know politics is serious in these parts, and we are talking about a serious topic, but we at GMSKN still know how to have fun, and we know that our viewers like to see us having fun, so we're going to invite you to participate in a trivia game, St. Kitts Nevis trivia with us. All right. We know that you know about youth activism, but we really want to know what you know about St. Kitts Nevis. So this is how we're going to test it. We have divided ourselves into two teams. We have Team J, yes, loyalty in the surname I'm hoping for. So I selected Camila Morris. Delwayne Delaney, I can trust the eyes. He's got 4 of
them. And I have selected, as I would have said, the future Prime Minister and the Deputy. So there we go. Team K, we will win. We always win. Always.
The trash talk. Or I can't even let the trash talk begin. It already has. All right, so the questions are going to appear on the monitor. Hortensia and I will read them for your benefit, and you will have some time to discuss, and then we share our answers. And Team J has the first question.
Sorry, Team J. Take the advantage.
How many parishes are there in St. Kitts? How many parishes are there in St. Kitts?
So we could just
9.
9 in St. Kitts and 3 in Nevis.
The answer is 9. That is the submission.
9 in St. Kitts and 3 in Nevis.
Okay. Correct.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Okay, so can you do better than that?
Of course we can. Of course we can.
Yeah.
Well, technically, can we take her answer?
No. We have our own answer.
How many parishes are there in Nevis?
5.
Okay. And we won.
But you wanted to take her answer. Technically, you didn't win anything. You almost won. Good team effort.
I just love, you see, my future is very bright with my deputy and my parish.
Imagine that. Wow. All right, so here is our question again, Team J. Name the only parish in Nevis that is not also the name of a parish in St. Kitts. Name the only parish in Nevis that is not also the name of a parish in St. Kitts.
Can we steal answers just in case if they don't get theirs?
All right, one more time. Name the only parish in Nevis that is not also the name of a parish in St. Kitts.
Charleston.
We're going with Charleston. And the answer is?
Wait, we would have the answer.
Wait, let them go with the answer.
But that's why I was asking if we could steal.
Yeah.
But you can't steal. But
We should be able to
stealing
get
because
it.
you're seeing it.
They have to get it.
You're seeing it.
We should be able to steal.
Yeah, we should
But
be
they
able
have
to
to- they have to-
I love that Team K is just like me.
You guys are great at advocating, right?
That's not how it works.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, Team
All right, so
J.
you get your turn. Your turn is coming up now.
Oh, man.
Who was the second premier of St. Kitts and Nevis?
You guys give us the harder question.
We promise it was fair. You let us go first.
So if they don't answer correctly, we'll get
Not necessarily because they didn't allow us
Because
to
we already
do it.
started
Yes.
beyond the But who knows? If you want to show your knowledge, why not? Discuss.
I think it should have been a steal for those. It should have been a steal.
So here's the question again for the benefit of our viewers. Who was the second premier of St. Kitts and Nevis?
That's before
Yeah, when it's supply, that's what music.
We had the first premier being Robert Llewellyn Bradshaw. He died while in office, and then after him, if I'm not mistaken, it was Southwell who took over the Labour Party, and I'm thinking, having taken over the Labour Party at that time, he would have been the premier.
Look at you with your fingers crossed.
Because I think so too. I know that for
Awesome.
I know that for a fact.
You see, I can congratulate you. I don't have to trash talk you. Good job. Good analysis too.
I wasn't trash talking. I was just saying that we should be like.
You see, there was fairness in competition. You see how that works? There's respect. Competition. Awesome. All right, so our question.
Yes.
Team J. Which famous founding father of the U.S. was born in
Too
Nevis?
easy.
You have all the easy answers.
Questions, yes.
You don't hear me complain.
Can you shake up that question, those questions, please?
Which famous founding father of the U.S. was born in Nevis?
Shake up the questions.
Hamilton.
Oh.
Absolutely right.
What is that the full name?
Alexander Hamilton. I'll give you the rest.
Oh.
All right. Good job, Team J.
I hope those questions were shaken. What was the former name of Mount Lyamiga? Hard question first, boy. But we going still.
What was the former name of Mount Lyamiga? Yeah, we should all know this. We should really all know this. That's a really good question. I can see why you guys feel that way. So again, for the benefit of our viewers, what was the former name of Mount Lyamiga?
At this point in time,
you need to answer.
Team J. You see? Now you have a trash talk on Team J.
we believe in fairness, and because Team J would not have answered a question correctly, we don't want to go above and beyond them. So we will pass our question.
Oh my God.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
I cannot believe you are going to allow that.
No, because see, we could have been one ahead. But I'm trying to.
Well, you guessed that. Do you know what it is?
I think I know, but I don't know.
Say it, just in case.
I want to know if this generosity will extend to the polls on election day.
No, it will not.
I'm sure not.
No. What I'm thinking of the Gibraltar, that's Brimstone Hill, so that's not it.
All right, let's see what the answer is.
If I knew the answer, I'm going to be upset.
Mount Misery. Oh.
That's what I said Mount Misery, but I didn't want
Next
to
time,
sound
say it
like...
out loud.
So I know,
He said Mount Misery, and I said, I'm not familiar.
And so I didn't want to say wrong answers. Yes.
Next time we should just say.
Let's see if we What was the former name of Independence Square?
Why are the
easy question?
Pall Mall Square.
Pall Mall Square. That is the answer.
That is
Can we get the questions shaken
You were the
up?
one who said
We're gonna win.
go first.
We are gonna win.
So that was on you.
We are gonna win, and we are not gonna doubt ourselves.
Here we go.
Oh, what is the official name of the clock in the circus?
I love these questions, by the way.
Oh my gosh.
Berkeley Memorial Park.
Yay.
We've got Berkeley Memorial.
I knew that.
And the answer is?
Berkeley Memorial.
All right, the answer gods don't want to give it to you. The Berkeley Memorial.
Yay!
But I still want to say that these questions are fairly distributed.
Unfairly? Okay, we got you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so what is the Kalinago name for Nevis? What is the Kalinago name for Nevis?
Look at my team. Like, really? I love my team.
What is the Kalinago
We should be
name
allowed
for
to
Nevis?
steal.
Team J is discussing. Thank you very much.
Stolen.
That's the answer.
It was just nerves, you know? Yes.
All right.
All right. Quick, so what was that you were saying before we began this thing?
That we're gonna win.
Okay.
We are gonna win.
Just reminding you, we've got 1 minute left.
Which town can be found in the parish of St. Anne?
We ought to be able to steal this, but you know what it is. I know you know. If you don't know what it is.
We know what it is.
So can we have the answer?
I just said it.
Oh?
Sandicoin.
Oh, okay.
So the answer is Sandicoin. That's what your
The
submission is.
home of the next Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I knew that too. So even if they didn't get it, I would have said
Which part of that did you know? All of it? Or?
Well, you have to know all once you know the others. So yeah.
All right. So here we go.
So do we have a tiebreaker?
I don't think that we do.
Oh man.
Oh, we do have a tiebreaker. Okay.
Yes.
That
Team J, is this anybody's question or?
In which parish?
Okay, yes, and the answer is St. George.
St. George.
I didn't ask you. I didn't give you the question. So, in which parish can Bastard be found?
I think the question.
St. George. Here we go.
No.
We got it now.
The question should be scrapped, and then I give them a next question. Yes.
Yes. All
Why should it
fairness
go
here.
back?
Because it's
we're gonna scrap it.
because we have to be fair
You
here.
realize what happens when you're dealing with politicians? They get used to people doing what they say.
So this is the tiebreaker. Name the school that was previously on the site that is presently the location of the Washington Archibald High.
Bastard Junior High.
Oh, Sharababa, yes, we won. We got that. I went to Bastard Junior High. I went to
Because as I answer that question,
it's not a tie.
before Cortesia finished.
No, you allowed me to finish. I was done.
Question is scrapped and y'all.
Because the question was asked, and it's supposed to be one question and everybody answer first.
Yeah.
But the question wasn't even asked, and Kabila asked.
Oh, wow.
We won.
So this is a contentious victory, nothing that we're not used to in these parts. But we'll take a break and we'll be back.
And you must also recognize that we gave them the opportunity to catch up.
Yes.
See that? So diplomatic of you until you stole it. All right. We'll be back in a moment with more Good Morning SKN. Stay tuned.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Let's avoid overloading our healthcare systems. This means simultaneously protecting yourselves and your loved ones from all disease, including mosquito-borne illness like dengue fever, Zika, and chikungunya viruses. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. To decrease your risk of being bitten by infected mosquitoes, use proven personal protective methods too. Apply an effective mosquito repellent to exposed areas of skin according to manufacturer's instructions. Wear light-colored long pants and shirts while outdoors in the early morning and late afternoons. Further, protect vulnerable family members like pregnant women, children, the elderly, and persons who are unwell by using mosquito nets to sleep or rest, even during the day. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases. This message is brought to you by the Pan American Health Organization, Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean countries.
The views and opinions expressed in this segment of Good Morning SKN are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the management and staff of Good Morning SKN and Studio 327 Inc.
We certainly saw some national favor in our last segment. And just like that, we are at the final part of our special edition of Youth and Politics here on Good Morning SKN. Our guests today are Delwyn Delaney, the PRO of the People's Action Movement, Tawana Wigley, acting chair of the Young Pamites, Azad Gums, the deputy chair of the People's Action Movement, and Karina Morris, member of the People's Action Movement. So as we discussed before, one answer.
One word.
One word.
Answer.
Oh, one word. But here, one word answer question. So one answer.
Oh, okay.
Yes. She's correct. Team K.
No. Yeah. Recount.
So would you rather vote for a female or male? Female. Oh, good stuff.
Okay, I love the way that we're doing this. We're flashing it. Here's a second question. Do you think that the politicians in St. Kitts and Nevis should engage in public debates?
Yes.
Love it. Should nationals vote on the issues of family voting history?
This one's a little slower in coming, I can see that.
They really shouldn't.
No.
But if they're voting for the People's Action Movement.
I like that.
I like that you didn't complete that one. So we don't know what you were going to say. All right, so number 4. Should an individual vote out of loyalty for the same party for his entire life?
No.
Okay. I like that.
So there are our one-word answers.
Yeah.
Great responses from each of you. Yeah, we got right to the instincts on that.
Yes.
All right, so we're moving on now, and I'm going to say to you, youth, one person of your choice can elaborate on any of the topics that we just asked you about. So who will it be? And what would you talk about?
Tawana, you want to talk about the policy versus tradition, family history?
Well, the reason I said no to the question is that when we were in school, we taught about the floating voter. You don't have to stick to a party because of loyalty, because if the policies don't align with what you want or what is best for the country, you know the motto is country above self. So if it doesn't align, you would have to make changes. You can't just say, I'm a diehard this, I'm a diehard that, and stay there. And it's detrimental to not only yourself and the country in general. I think that's the best way to put it. You have to be voting on the policies that are best for the country.
Camilla, answer the question about would you vote for a male or female? So I guess you could expound on that.
Of course, I mean, in this modern age, we're looking at female empowerment. We're moving away from where, men took all the responsibilities and roles. Women are more than capable to lead. We're leading households. I mean, I don't being a mother myself. If managing a business, we're able and capable of leading.
We are.
Jeremy, next question for you.
I'm going to ask you again. I'm looking back at it. Do you think politicians in St. Kitts and Nevis should engage in public debates?
Public space.
Public debates.
Public debates.
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Oftentimes we need to hear the issues. We need to hear that face-off type of thing where we can see who is best suited on issues and policies as it relates to their particular party. I think it allows for viewers to really understand and get an in-depth understanding as to what they stand for as individuals, as politicians, as well as the parties they represent. So again, I think it's definitely something that we can explore in the future.
What the final question?
I think Tawana answered it when she talked about the floating voter concept. The question dealt with whether one should vote for a particular party for his or her entire life.
Yeah.
So you definitely touched on that one, Tawana. All right, so we want to give you the opportunity now to let us know what your personal mission is for choosing to be involved in politics the way that you have been.
Okay, for me, it's about people. It's about people. And my involvement in politics came about where persons would have reached or leaned on me to say, hey, Delwyn, why not? Why not? You have been doing so much in the community. You have helped so many persons. Why not take that step and assist even at a greater length? So for me, it's about people, seeing people grow, seeing people develop. I love helping people. Persons would approach me and say, hey, make sure you get this out of it. Make sure you get. I say, it was never that. It was never about that, and it will never be about that for me. Once I'm happy, once I'm comfortable in my own space, and my kids are taken care of. I mean, that's all to it for me. And one author said that if you're not serving people, then you're not living your purpose in life. We were born to serve people, not to enrich ourselves, but to serve people. And for me, that's all it boils down to, serving people.
Okay, now my question to you is, I know the portfolios are normally handed out by the Prime Minister, but if you were to, let me phrase it this way, what would be your preferred portfolio? Minister of what?
Come on. It has to be sports. It has to be sports. It has to be sports, and I because I've been with the Small Business Development Center for over 14 years or thereabout. I think a bit of small business entrepreneurship has to be in there as well. I understand the common person as it relates to small businesses, the struggles, what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So that coupled with the Ministry of Sports, I think will be up my alleyway.
See, I just didn't want to put it on you.
Yeah.
I don't know what you would prefer.
Well, you got the answer. You got the answer.
You got the answer.
All right. So we want to know what ways you have succeeded in doing, or you are planning to raise youth awareness and involvement in politics.
Well, we could say as early as a Saturday of this week, we are going to be hosting a youth forum where we are going to be presenting the youth agenda to the youth of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We're going to ask for their feedback in ways in which we could help them. And we're going to have also in attendance our political leader, the next Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Sean Richards. We're going to have John L. Powell there as well, and Natasha Gray Brooks there as well. So that is one start already.
All right, I'm not going to let you go without trying to tease a little information out of you concerning what's on that agenda. What can you tell us?
Well, we brought the agenda. We distribute it in different headings. We have civic involvement, we have ITC, we have agriculture and fisheries, we have music, the arts, sports as well. A holistic agenda, ITC, we want to ensure that young people do get the best from their representatives and from the People's Action Movement going forward.
And not one of my favorite and push is youth health and well-being.
Okay.
Yes, that is a part of the agenda as well.
Yes, yes.
All right, it's good to know.
Because we need healthy youths to run the country, right?
That's correct.
Right, we're in agreement with you. Maybe you should join.
And of course, on that note, we want to welcome you, invite you, Jamie, and also
Hortensia.
Team Care. Yes, we want to invite both of you to be a part of the People's Action Movement. We are a party that includes everyone,
We welcome all.
I love it.
Yes.
And well, I guess the viewers caught that as well. So thank you for inviting us. You're inviting everyone. All right, so to close this morning's special edition of Youth and Politics and Good Morning SKN, we want to give each of you, our panelists, a few moments to share your final thoughts on youth and politics. So I'll start with you.
No, I'm going first. Well, just to share, like I was saying before, we have to focus on inclusivity. The youth, they have a voice. The voice is powerful. We are no longer sitting back and not going after what we want. We are driven people. We are passionate about what we want to do. And the best way for that to happen is to have youth in politics.
All right, and the last word with our final 30 seconds, Camila, goes to you.
I want to encourage our young people not to be afraid to speak out and stand up for what you want. We are, our needs are important. You shouldn't feel that going forward, we shouldn't feel that we would be victimized. It's all inclusive and we are non-biased.
Thank you to the representatives of the PAM for joining us on this special edition of Good Morning SKN. It has been engaging and enlightening and fun as well, despite us seeing some signs of cheating. But thank you. Thank you very
so much.
Thank you for having us.
Feel free to come back anytime.
Sure.
We will.
Alrighty.
More Good Morning SKN in a moment. Stay tuned.
I'm here to St. Kitts, Nevis. You don't know for us I represent for the Ministry of Health. Yeah. Respect the COVID protocols. In a time like this, all for one for all. St. Kitts, Nevis. Don't forget your mask. Wear it everywhere you go. Sanitize before and after everything you do. Cause you never know what's on the surface or the places you go. Maintain a safe social distance between me and you. Keep calm and stay focused. Don't be a fool, seek the facts first. And boost your immune system up. Don't wanna lose no more of us. Mask up, furlough, sanitize, observe the protocols all about. Be wise. Mask up, furlough, sanitize. Me family fitting boat. Blessed love and greetings. This is Infamous, and I am here to encourage every Kittitian and Nivision to remember that we have our part to play in the fight against COVID-19. So sanitize, wear your face mask, practice social distancing, and go and get vaccinated. For me no know about you, but me love St. Kitts bad. Easy no man.
morning. This is Carol from Lux Carnival, and I listen to Good Morning SKN.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. Lights, camera, action. That is usually the order on television, but unfortunately, that there was no action on Friday, June 3rd. This is when Petula Skeet was scheduled to appear here on Good Morning SKN for Connections, but there was a power outage. Petula is a national of St. Kitts and Nevis, a cosmetologist by training and a multi-Emmy award-winning hairstylist for her work with Robin Roberts, an anchor on Good Morning America. Petula is a motivational speaker and an entrepreneur and continues to pave the way for self-love and acceptance within the beauty industry. Donut Live, Jamie and I had the pleasure of speaking with the lovely Petula to learn about her experience styling the stars. Here's the result of that conversation.
To the show today, Good Morning SKN, right here in one of our offices. As you might have noticed, we lost electricity a while ago, and it was unfortunate because we had very exciting guests lined up in the person of Petula Skeet, native here of St. Kitts and Nevis, but some of you might remember her from Good Morning America, because she is a 6-time Emmy Award-winning hairstylist. And I did catch your interview with none other than Ms. Robin herself, one of those clips. So it's truly an honor to have you here in the studio. We've been talking before the cameras were here. We've been having a whole lot of fun. So
thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be home, and I'm happy to share. Good morning, St. Kitts. Happy day.
No, we know that you're from here because you can't leave the neighbors out.
Of course, yes, you cannot. So, what we doing here? You know what? I'm accustomed to be behind the camera. I know y'all have me in front of the camera, so I'm shaking. I think you believe that. I don't. The audience shaking. Yeah. So let's share. What do you want to know?
We've been talking all about that. I was saying to our executive program manager, Lisa Daniel Break, that I'm so upset with her because to have you here and not have my makeup done.
Come on now. Yeah, you gotta be hair, makeup ready at all times. Yes, so I'll talk to her about that.
Yeah, please do. And the sad thing is that you're getting on a plane later, so this is exactly why we're doing this, is we can't even reschedule this interview in person. So thank you so much for doing this.
But thank God for Zoom, you know, and social media. We're gonna do this, because I really want to talk to you guys, because I've been with Good Morning America for 18 years, and I want to share. I'm excited, because Good Morning St. Kitts and Nevis, we got this.
Yes, absolutely right. You were talking to us before about some advice, some of the similarities that you noticed, some of the things that we can do to improve. So that's something that we're going to talk about a little bit more. But your trip back home, I mean, honestly, how has it been so far?
It's been well. You know, I never have enough time. And I feel like I came here yesterday, which was last week Friday, and now it's Friday, I'm out, but trust me, I'm going to be home pretty often. COVID behind us. So now, St. Kitts and Nevis is where you need to be. If you just want a vacation, not a vacation anymore. You can work and vacation at the same time. So for me, so happened that I have to, you know, my work is hands-on, so I can't do it too often, but come on over. It's the beauty. It's beautiful. Like, you need this.
Absolutely. We were joking off camera, of course, about the fact that when we were young on air, I had this guest, I think it was Charnel McMaster, a local singer here, and introducing her, I was like, welcome to Good Morning America. And on the fly, I was like, Good Morning America. So, you never know, you might end up there. But look at
right. You got to manifest. You have to speak it. You was channeling Good Morning America. And, you know, so you can think it, speak it, and you'll be it. Because, for me, I can't wait to share my story of how I got on Good Morning America. And it was by default. So you never know. I came here today, already hair done, makeup done, ready to do my thing. And what we say is it's quarantine. Yes. But guess what? It's not going to stop us. We got phones now. You do Zoom, iPhone, Google this, that. Come on now, and we doing it, right?
Yes.
So you never know, speak it.
So I want to know, how is Robin surviving that you're not there to do the hair and makeup?
Robin, you know, she's good. Like, pretty much she's on vacation. Like, her vacation is my vacation.
Oh,
so, like, she told me that she was taking a break, and I was like, book me a plane ticket to St. Kitts. Real quick. Yeah, so I'm heading back home now because I had a meeting in Miami. We have to do Special Olympics.
Okay.
And so that's why, because I could have stayed one more day, but I wanted to make sure that in case anything happened today, like, Cara gone, and I had one more day. Just in case, so I can make it on time, because you know we do a live show. It's not a tape. So if you're not there, you're in trouble. And I've been with her for 18 years, and I think I only had like 1 or 2 slip up. I got up, and so normally I get up at 3:50 in the morning, and it's always dark outside. But this morning I got up and it was plain as day. I said, wait, what is this? I jumped out, and I tell you, I was racing down the highway, and I got to work, and they were like, okay. But all of us have had one of those moments, but I don't like when it's me.
That had a few.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure.
Our executive program manager will tell you that, you know, she's ringing my phone if I'm not here at 7:45.
7:45?
We're supposed to be here at 7.
Oh my gosh, 7:45, that's like midday for me.
So we get it. And I'm not mad at you, Robin. I'm not mad at you for taking her away. I'm not mad at you for taking her really weird on, because we love you. As a matter of fact, you have to let her know, and the people in America know that one of the things that we framed this show on, I knew it from our owner. She said, you know what, I want to show like Good Morning America. A show like, she said it.
Wow.
So, hey, thank you, Robin, for sending Petula to us for a week. We're going to do this interview, but we're sending our love to you as well.
And we're sending her back safely.
And you guys, you never know. Maybe she will be a guest on your show. You never know. You never know. Speak it.
Yes.
Intervene.
All right. Great. I'm
Petula,
super excited.
I am super excited too. Glad to meet you. It's been
it was a pleasure.
You know.
And I can't wait to share, you know, just to let people know how I got there. I said it was by default, but it was by design. Okay?
I have to say, the energy from Petula. First of all, Petula, if you're watching this, we love you.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being a trooper with us. We had a power outage, as you explained to Hortensia, but we still managed to get a great interview with Petula. And I think in that there was a teaser, Hortensia, that, you know, the interview is not over, because we're going to get more. Because really what we did when we met with her, I think, was to just hit the surface of a lot of things, because we knew that at some point we would get her back for the interview. So that was it. But honestly, one of my greatest takeaways from the interaction with Petula, not just the conversation that made its way to the ear, but just interacting with her, is that she is so full of energy, and she's such a passionate and genuine person. In talking with her, I felt like I knew her for years.
Yes, yes.
What about you?
As I was telling you, even though we were using cellular phone, she didn't make it look that way. She was just in the conversation, attentive. As you said, she pursued her passion. She even shared the story with us the one time she was late and she thought she would have almost lost her job, but that wasn't the case because of the work that she put out. So her work spoke for itself, although she had that one mess up.
Yeah, that's true. And her commitment to the task, because she's been with Robin, she told us, for a total of 18 years so far. And I think that was before people even knew that Robin was as good as as good as she is. And that unit, that that camaraderie, that dedication, that friendship that you see that blossomed into that. I could see why anybody would be friends with Petula, to be honest.
Exactly. And the fact that she's not only sticking to her career of just being the stylish, the makeup artist / hairdresser. Well, I should say hairdresser and makeup artist. She has seeped into the seams or into the cracks, where she also provides topics for discussion on the show. So she has expounded on
that's true.
area of work.
You know, I can't forget to mention, because he didn't make his way onto the screen, but her husband Ralph, really cool dude. We had great conversation. Ralph, great.
I also heard she's a producer. Petula's a producer.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Well,
you go, girl. You go, girl.
So what does that say to us concerning the ability of nationals in small federations like our own to make an impact on the world at large?
That it's possible. Once you pursue your passion, it pays off.
There's just some energy that Petula brought. I know that we had no electrical energy that day per se because the electricity was gone, but there was just such an energy and such a warmth and such a passion and such grace and such humility and such knowledge that Petula embodied. I tell you, I knew right there, just from that conversation. We had the conversation in the hallway because obviously the studio was dark. You remember, it was black. We really couldn't see anything at all. And it was like, no, we're going to miss out on this great interview. We can't. And I'm glad that our team, found a way to facilitate that interview, that brief interview. And I'm looking forward to the actual interview when we get some more. Of course, can't forget that we sent our love to Robin Roberts.
Yes, hi Robin, if you're watching.
Was I preaching? Did I predict that we'd have a GMA representative all those months ago when I said that you were on Good Morning America? No, that was a gaffe. But anyway,
you spoke it into being. You spoke it into being, and the fact that she even gave us tips on what we can do to improve. That
was a big one.
She was very good.
That was a big one, and we're going to implement those tips. Actually, I think we've already started to. So, Petula, thank you so much. I tell you, if you ever decide to leave GMA.
You got a home at
GMS
Morning
SKN
SKN.
is going to be your home. All right. I think it also says to us that there is no dream that is too big for anyone to achieve as well. And I think that's really, really important to know because a lot of people I know traditionally felt that just because we are, very small, St. Kitts and Nevis, you can't necessarily compete on the world stage, yet we see in Petula, and we've seen with a lot of our other guests, the embodiment of that. So that is great. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to take a break. Is that what you told me? A brief one?
Short one? Yeah.
You want it to be a long one?
No, not a big one.
Okay.
Only the dreams can be big, but the break has to be short.
Fair enough.
See you on the other side of the break.
Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Me pray every time I feel can't do no different. Swear me have a win, that's why I'ma try again. Pray every time I feel, cause God always a listen. One day I have to win, that's why I'ma try again.
Dreamy Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
It is that time of day when we get to let you know what is happening. So first on the list, we have basketball training. Are you any good, Cortensia?
No.
Okay, at least you're honest. You're not cheating this time. That's a game that we should play, by the way. We're going to do that soon. All right, so Build Up Basketball Academy is having basketball training. Tyrone Hutchinson or Coach Bill, right? So they're going to be doing that. Training will take place every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. and the cost is $30 per session for boys and girls of all ages. So, well, you're not a girl, so that doesn't count. You're a woman. The following basketball fundamentals will be covered: character, ball handling, shooting, strategic thinking, who knew, right? Handling pressure, fitness, and so much more. So for more information, contact Build Up Basketball Academy via 763-7589, and that's also the number that you can use for WhatsApp. All right, there's Facebook and Instagram as well that you can follow. Built Up at, there it is, at Build Up Basketball Academy. That's the handle, and you can email them at buildupbasketballacademy@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's good. So, Empower Her workshop. Treasure Chest will be hosting an Empower Her Girl Empowerment Workshop this summer from the 18th to the 22nd July at the Connery Community Center. The sessions will cover topics such as financial literacy, health and hygiene, goal setting, self-care, self-love, etiquette,
entrepreneurship, career coaching, leadership, decision making, visual arts, developmental photo shoot, and so much more. Wow. The workshops will take place from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. daily, and snacks, lunch, and transportation will be provided. To register, contact Treasure Chest at 669-2779 or email them at treasurechest.kn@gmail.com. The registration deadline is July 9th.
Wow, I cannot believe it, Cortensia. We are actually at the show. All right, so we're going to impress on you how important it is for us to have you follow us on our social media platforms. All right, so we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, of course. We are on YouTube. Those of you who have already done so and subscribed, we appreciate it. But of course, again, there's more to be done. So our handle at Studio 327 Inc. at Studio 327 Inc. Like, subscribe, follow, share.
Yes, and we remind you to leave us a comment and let us know what you want to see next on Good Morning SKN. So this is where we say see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. when you will start your morning with us right here at Good Morning SKN, where there is a little bit of everything for everyone. Have a great day, guys.
Bye-bye.